the rhythm and we run into that particular segment straight away. Now, there's a popular story here in Ghana. I don't know where you're listening to me from, whether Kenya, Zambia, Gambia, Namibia, Ethiopia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Tunisia, Algeria, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Togo, Nigeria, I don't know. But there's a popular story here, which I am sure will resonate, will connect with stories elsewhere from Africa, from the African soil, because it's an indigenous African story. It has been captured in some songs as well. I don't know whether it's Amachi Dede. One of the high life artists actually used it to do, a masterpiece. It's a very popular story. I love to tell my case stories at night before they sleep. It's one of my son's favorite stories. He loves it. Sometimes he tells me, tell me the story of the tortoise. Tell me the story of the, and I have to go back and repeat that particular story over and over and over. Now, today when I look at the wave, what is happening to Africa? What is happening in Niger? What is happening in Mali? What is happening in Algeria? And the silence, the total silence from the rest of the African continent. And I pay attention to the reaction of ECOWAS, I get worried. Now listen to the story. I'm told they leave 3 animals, in the bush. Actually 2 animals in the bush. The tortoise and the bird. The tortoise, tortoise, they take a long while to walk to their destination. So the tortoise will walk a bit and then take a rest, and walk a bit and take a rest. So this tortoise got to a place where he has to wait a bit and then make a transition into the next part of its journey. So the tortoise got resting under a tree. And up there on the tree, there live a bird. Birds can chip and, make noise. So the bird was chipping, making noise. Chipping, quick. And the tortoise looked around looking for a means to send information to the bird to keep quiet. We have hunters in this forest. A little more noise will attract the attention of a hunter and we are dead. So please, I beg you, how do I find a way to relay this information to this particular bird up there, chipping and making too much noise that might attract attention of a hunter? Now the tortoise looks around and finds, there's this plant that looks like a rope, and it climbs trees. It's a type of a plant, and it climbs trees. I saw humano, a frudia, and also a ahaban bisa. So the tortoise looks around and finds this particular rope that looks like a wire wrapping around the tree up into the branches of the tree, but it's also a plant. Now the tortoise sends the information through this particular plant that looks like a rope wrapped around the tree up into the branches of the tree, and tells the rope, please, you are a bit longer and you can reach out to this bird up there chipping and making too much noise today. Tell him, Tiena Manontono say, he is making too much noise. Now, at the assembly, it might bring problem. It might bring a problem. Then the plant that looks like a rope told the tortoise, what is, what do I have to do? What is my concern? How does it concern me that the bird is sipping and making noise? How does it concern me? The tortoise tells the rope, listen, we have hunters in this forest. On my way here, I've noticed a lot of hunters in this forest trying to hunt for meat. This bird can attract the attention of a hunter and we might be killed. And the rope told the tortoise, do I look like meat to the hunter? What would the hunter do with me? A rope like this, a plant, what would the hunter do with me? Do I look like meat? Even if the hunter comes here, it is you and the bird that he will catch. You people are meat, me I'm not meat. So the rope refused to send the signal to the bird to keep quiet. a little while after, indeed, the noise of the bird attracted the attention of a hunter, one of the finest hunter of that era. That hunter never misses. The hunter takes steps and then detects or decodes the direction of the noise or the chirping of the bird, walks straight to that point, aims at the bird, shoots at the bird, boom. The bird fell right in front of the tortoise. Right in front of the tortoise. So when the hunter bent down to pick up the bird, he shot down, he found a tortoise, bonus. He picked the tortoise too. He added the tortoise to the bird. He was so happy. But how does he hold the bird and the tortoise together? And now so the hunter looks around looking for a rope. He does not find one. He sees this particular plant that looks like a rope wrapped around a tree. He uses his cutlass, cuts the rope, and ties the rope together with put the bird and the tortoise together and uses the rope to tie them. So on his way home, happy, he has made some meat. He has gotten some meat home for his family. The bird was already dead, shot by the hunter's gun. But the rope was still, still has some life in it because it takes some time for life out of a plant to go off. The tortoise was still alive. On the hunter's way home, together with his catch, the tortoise asked the rope, "Same catch yourself and krakoma abwa nume se onyedi enyesa debi edi asembeba. I told you to send a signal to this bird to keep quiet, else it will bring problem. You told me you are not meat. What would the hunter do with you? And for that matter, you don't care. It doesn't concern you. Today, look at you, look at me, look at the bird. We are all in the same soup. So don't sit aside and say, it doesn't concern you. Make it a concern. Make it a concern. The Ufiasem is not an African philosophy. If you look at the African setting, the Ufiasem is not our setting at all. What is happening in Niger, Mali, and the approach of ECOWAS, the silence of African leaders. Now the West is planning intervention. Soon, if you don't take care, these people will turn the African soil into the grounds for World War III. Just like they've turned Ukraine into a war zone, the fight between America, NATO, Western powers, and and Russia is only happening on the grounds of Ukraine. That war is not between Russia and Ukraine. It's a war between Russia and the Western powers. But they look for a grounds to fight that war. If African leaders don't wake up, rise up, and we sit in our little corners in our countries and say, and fire who, Africa will be turned into a battlefield for them to settle their scores. France, Russia, Europe, America, their struggle for superpowership. They will look for a battlefield, a war zone, because they will not destroy their countries. They will not destroy their territories with war. They will not do it. They always look for a different ground far from them to settle their scores. Don't sit down there in your comfort zone and say it doesn't concern you. Edi asembeba na semnon suba ebi bekam. Rise and speak when you must speak.